Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ask Yann. Today, Priscilla sent me a message, or not today, but a few weeks ago, and she asked me how she can become an online writer and make money writing online. So the thing is, let me start. How can I start this? I think you don't make money online anymore, just writing, because the thing is, there's way too many people out there that are currently writing. The competition is too tough. B, the second thing is that if I look at myself, like if I see an ebook, for example, that costs more than just $2.99, I'm already hesitant about buying the book. So usually I end up not buying books that are more than $2.99, and that's already I'm already someone who's paying for ebooks, whereas the majority of people, they are not even ready to pay anything for it. So the second thing, or B, the B point, is that most people are simply not willing to pay for an ebook anymore. Printed books, you barely make any money online with printed books. If I look at myself, like all the ebooks that I wrote, on average I made maybe €500 or $500 with an ebook. So according to my opinion and according to my experience, you don't make money online anymore as a writer. But there's a big but. So it's not really that there's no way to make money anymore with writing, but it's just, it serves a different purpose. For example, like usually these days you don't really write to make money writing, but you make money writing because maybe you want to get a speaker engagements with it. You might want to get consulting gigs. You might want to start writing and maybe land a good job, because to me, writing or blogging or publishing a book is pretty much a tool to build up your personal brand, which might then develop into something bigger. And that's something that a lot of people didn't realize until now. But if you look online, think about yourself, how you consume ebooks, online content. You most probably are not paying a lot for most of it, except maybe the top 1%. But to reach the top 1%, you might get there in 10, 15, 20 years before you might be able to cash in. So I think specifically for me, blogging and writing online is a great networking tool. Because I figured that a lot of people that I would otherwise never have had the opportunity to get in touch with started reading my blog. And then I can start leveraging this. I can start making introductions. I can introduce them to other people. I can have other people start making business together. I can start whatever kind of things. I also get invited to a few speaking gigs because of my writing. So it's really to not see writing as a way to make money, but as a way to leverage yourself, to pretty much scale yourself. And another thing that I think is really important to understand about writing is that, it takes a hell lot of time to become really, really good so that people are actually willing to pay money for you. And I wouldn't really consider quitting my job for a career in writing and publishing books online unless you're already among the top 1%. So what I would do is like keep your day job, save as much money as possible so that you can start investing the salary or part of the salary, like first start saving some of your money or some of your salary, and then B, also start investing some of the money to market your books or trying to figure out how it works. So this is the first part of Priscilla's question, but she also asked another question. She had actually 3 topics she was thinking about what she could write about, and she was asking me how can she actually figure out what she should write about. And I think a great way, and a way how I did it, is the first book I published, I actually started selling it before I really wrote it. So what I did is, so then it depends if you have a blog already or an audience. So it's easy if you already have an audience. So simply design a cover for an ebook. You put the picture on your blog, on your website, in the sidebar. And then when people click on it, they'll be directed to a landing page or a sign-up page where they can leave their email address. So that way you will figure out whether or not people are actually interested in it. So you can track it. Let's see, 100 people click on it, then you have a small description, and out of 100 people, like 60 people sign up. So that's a first indicator that people are interested in the stuff you're writing about. And what I would do then is I would start sending newsletters, like small parts of the book maybe. If it's a book about startups, in my case, I sent small newsletters once a week where I was like, giving free content away, where I was writing about some things about investors, about startups, so that people started trusting me. And it's all about trust. And once you did that, once you sent out like, let's say about cooking, so you send out 5 or 6 different recipes for cooking, and then after the 6th interaction, you sent them a link where they can pre-order the book. Where, for example, on Amazon it's possible to pre-order book, or Gumroad it's possible to pre-order books. So that's what I did. I had an email list of a few hundred people. I sent out a link to Gumroad where people could pre-order and first of all pay as much as they wanted to. So that was the first way to validate my book idea. And I also did it with a bunch of other books, but it didn't do really well. So the only thing I did again was like design a cover, put it on my blog on the sidebar. I was checking if people were willing to sign up and leaving me their email address, if they were even willing to pay. And because only like 2 or 3 people bought it, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna write this book. It's way too much work. So that's a great way to test and see whether or not people might be interested in your book. So it might get it's a bit more complicated if you don't have an audience yet, if you don't have a blog yet. But there's also a way to do this. Like, for example, when I started my first book, wrote my first book, nobody knew me, nobody has ever heard my name. So the same thing I did. I made a landing page with LaunchRock, a very simple tool. I'll actually post all of the links below the video once I publish it. I made a landing page with LaunchRock. I sent traffic to the landing page via Facebook advertisement. So what I did is I started to get into like Facebook advertising because I didn't have an audience and I didn't know where I might get people from. So I started experimenting a bit with Facebook ads. So at the end of the day, I spent a few $100 to validate my business idea. I was able to send to start collecting a few hundred email addresses, and you might think, why should I spend a few $100s on advertising? And I think it's really a great way to test and see whether or not you're wasting like, let's say, half a year or a year working on something that at the end of the day no one might buy. So really turn the thing around, try to figure out before whether or not people are willing to pay and buy your book. And if they are, then you can start writing it. And the process that I introduced you to is the exact same process that I follow for my first book and for a bunch of other books that I at the end of the day didn't end up writing. So Priscilla, that's my take. So to summarize it, you don't make money online. You only make money online, or writing online is more or less just a way to build your personal brand, to offer other services. And if you want to know, and if you have like 3 or 4 different book ideas, like test it before, see if people are willing to pay for it, and then start writing, start sending small newsletters, and most importantly, don't quit your job. Never ever quit your job before you don't really have something else that pays the bills, because that's the worst thing that you could do. And I think these days, writing online, making money online, writing takes a hell lot of time. So stay at your job, do what you're doing, but have the end goal and have the vision in mind. And the vision is that you want to be a writer or use your writing to leverage your personal brand. So that's my take on this one, Priscilla, and all the other listeners out there. I hope it helps. And if you have any questions, just simply shoot me a mail on yann@girard.net. That's it for today. Bye bye.